So when is the next time the Federal Reserve is going to be announcing their next interest rate hike? This is in response to the fear of these inflation reports coming in hotter than expected. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky here with TechBit Solutions. I hope that you learned something new. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. If you have any questions after this video, all I literally ask you to do is to message me either via Discord or via Instagram. And that's the first or third link in the description down below. Let's go ahead and jump right to it. I want to get to answer your question right away. If you are asking for the next FOMC interest rate hike, you have to remember that these happened during the FOMC minutes meeting, right? And you can see that our most recent one was from January 31st to February 1st. And then that's when they announced the 0.25% interest rate hike that we most recently reported. It was one of the less aggressive ones dating back since March 17th of 2022. Now, I want to make sure that you guys all have access to this because I don't want you to have to depend on someone else to stay up to date with the Federal Reserve's schedule. And this is all available on federalreserve.gov/monetary policy. And this is under the FOMC calendar. The next interest rate hike is going to be on March 21st to March 22nd. That is when they actually announce the next interest rate hike. And this is a big misunderstanding because I think people were getting the FOMC minutes report confused with an actual interest rate hike. And what I mean by that is you guys could see that on February 22nd, there's a FOMC minutes meeting, but this one's actually just a recap. It's a summary. It's something that we've talked about before, especially if you're part of our LPP team. This is an actual report on how they came up to the conclusion of only raising interest rates 0.25% based off of our previous interest rate hike. So the way that this thing works is that they announce the interest rate hike, and then a couple of weeks after, they release the report on pretty much how they came to that decision of that interest rate hike. It's kind of backwards in my opinion, but they give the explanation after the interest rate hike already happened. Agree to disagree on when it should actually be released. This is the idea or the schedule of the Federal Reserve, and that's going to be next week. So can that shift markets? Maybe, right? If the focus begins to change. But the big concern that you guys saw today is there's a bunch of headlines covering, that this is the, if I'm not mistaken, third straight week of loss due to rate fears. Although we have seen, let me go ahead and show you very quickly, the overall NASDAQ market has been showing signs of a beautiful uptrend pattern. We haven't really made new highs on the NASDAQ market since February 2nd. And as of right now, we are testing our previous support range right around 296 to 297. Now, the question is, can the market pull back a little bit more, maybe down to the 287 support, right around that moving average? And I think that's why a lot of people were in fear, because they're like, okay, well, these inflation reports that were released today or this week, right? CPI was released on Tuesday, PPI was report on Thursday. This week was a packed week when it comes down to inflation reports. And the unfortunate part is that both of those reports came in hotter than expected. So if you're asking the question, why is the market pulling on back? Two things. First off, the market's overbought based off of a recent rally since January 6th and its peak from February 2nd. It hasn't really pulled on back since. So again, a pullback is not a bad thing. A pullback is simply another opportunity to buy in at a lower level. The second thing is, these inflation reports did come in hotter than expected. And Jerome Powell, in his discussion, just like I've said in previous videos, he said that he and the Federal Reserve will be more aggressive with future interest rate hikes if inflation data comes in hotter than expected. Now, this is where people are beginning to question, what is the Federal Reserve going to do on their next interest rate hike? Are they going to remain at the 0.25%, which means less aggressive and dovish, right? Or are they going to go back to a half a basis points or a 0.75% interest rate hike? I don't imagine it to be in a 0.75% interest rate hike. That would be very bad for the overall market. But originally what was factored in, just so you understand, was a 0.25%. So now that this inflation data came in hotter than expected, Remember, the Federal Reserve wants the economy to slow down and to feel the pressure. So if they don't see that the economy is slowing down and feeling the pressure, then they will justify being more aggressive with future interest rate hikes, which means that instead of the 0.25%, they might justify a 0.5% interest rate hike. But that's not going to happen, just like I said, until their next FOMC meeting, and that's going to be on March 21st to March 22nd. And again, this is all available on federalreserve.gov website. So other than that, I just wanted you guys to have a little bit of a better understanding, especially for this 3-day weekend. I don't want you to be stressing out on like, oh no, this upcoming week, there's going to be a rate hike on Wednesday. Please don't get it confused with a minutes report versus an actual interest rate hike. This is simply a recap from our last interest rate hike, and it just gives us a summary or an explanation on how the Federal Reserve came up with that conclusion of the 0.25% interest rate hike. So I'm very excited to follow up. I still think that it's in the very early stages for a potential reversal. We are not necessarily making new lows. We're still holding above previous support levels. So NASDAQ market could find a support here and could go back to retest that 310 to 315 resistance on QQQ, or next week, right, market opens a little bit lower and we break below the 297, then on that point moving forward, we can try to work towards getting to that 287 and shorting the market on the way down. But overall, just wanted to make sure that you guys have a little bit of a better understanding on the next interest rate hike. If you guys have any questions about what we covered today, feel free to send me a direct message either via Instagram or via Discord. That's that first or third link down below. And friendly reminder, I do trade live every day with my Learn Plan Profit group. So if you've ever wanted the ability to watch someone trade live, you can see my entries, you can see my exits, but most importantly, you get to hear my thought process of why I'm entering a trade or why I'm selling a position. And again, this is all exclusive for my Learn Plan Profit group. Right now, we're running our biggest sell. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. It's $150 off, and it's the second link in the description down below. Also, I do want to remind you that we are giving away a free t-shirt for every buy two, get one free. And again, that is all available at shoptechbuds.com or the fourth link down below, especially if you've been wanting to pick up anything from mouse pads to our new apparel collection. This is all available at shoptechbuds.com. I am using the Webull trading application. It is available and free for everyone in the US. So if you're tired of your old trading application, right now Webull does have a limited time promotion that if you sign up using the fifth link in the description down below, it is a free sign up bonus. As long as you deposit $1, you can earn up to 12 free shares by signing up for Webull right now. You earn 12 free shares, I earn 1 free share, and all you have to do is click that fifth link down below. I do appreciate you guys' time. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.